Please welcome John and Betsy Elliott. I know you're going to enjoy them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. All right. So, what are we going to do, Betsy?
One more day, which is sometimes something you say.
That's what it feels like.
It's going to be...
But you got to stick with this because it kind of starts out, it seems a little negative, but it picks up on the other side, so stay with us.
Yes.
Hate the wind and the rain coming down. Hate the snow and the cold. Hate stiff fingers in the morning. Hate getting old. Hate being tired all the time. Hate the ache in my bones. Hate that early sun coming out. Hate that rooster's crow. Raise my head and give thanks every day. Bow my head and pray. When it's my time, just give me one more day. Wanna ride every day. I've got a humming funny things that day.
There we go.
But this is just a warm-up here. This capo is being released.
Fancy capo.
That's what you get for getting
Yeah,
fancy.
you get fancy.
Okay, so where were we?
There we
Raise my head to the thanks every day.
go.
Bow my head and pray. When it's my time, just give me one more day. But the birds wanna ride every day. See the cows at play. Let it take me away. Love the light on the mountains in the morning. Love the sage in the rain. Love knowing from being old. Love doing this again. Love the feel of my saddle just right. Love my horse knows the way. Love the fun of newborn colts with the mamas at play. Love the sound of hooves in the dirt. Love the hawk as it sings. Love swinging my robe. Love the grass no brings. Raise my head and give thanks every day. Bow my head and pray. When it's my time, just give me one more day. Raise my head and give thanks every day. Bow my head and pray. When it's my time, just give me one more day. Just give me one more day.
Thank you, Randy.
That was the extended version, you know.
Oh boy.
Okay. Now that we've completely, we're really trying you out here. We're going to see if you're going to stick with us.
All right. How about that?
True love. Uh-oh. That's capo. Another capo song. All right, no guarantees. It's working right now. Okay.
Okay, good. Sorry, just want to make sure
We're professionals.
Somebody said, you should sing this song, just because it kind of applies, but it probably applies to a lot of folks.
And I was trying to figure out what kind of message they were sending to us. How many girls choose cotton dress worlds when they could have satin and lace? Stood by your man through good times and hard, and kept a smile on your face. Love is a stranger, hearts are in danger, on smooth streets paved with gold. True love travels down a gravel road. Down through the years we've had hard times and tears. They've only made our love grow. We'll stick together no matter the weather or how hard the wind blows. How many hearts can face the winters we've known and still not turn cold? True love travels down a gravel road. Our fiddle player now. Love is a stranger, hearts are in danger, on smooth streets paved with gold. True love travels down a gravel. True love travels down a gravel. It's gonna be troublesome. True love travels down a gravel road. Thank you. Thank you, Randy.
Wiley, Gus,
Mr. Gustafson.
Gustafson, I can never say his name.
Say
Did
it
that?
first.
Elvis did that. It's been around for a
And
while.
covered.
Yeah. What do you think? You want to try This Is the Life?
Which one is that?
Are you yodel ready? Yeah.
I've never yodeled red.
I know.
That's not capable, is it? No, I don't have an excuse. Okay.
So when John wrote this song, I was like, yeah, that kind of applies. You know, if you guys
yeah.
that are, out on these great
Big
trips.
outfit cowboys that move around a lot.
And let's say it's one fellow, he 6 months and he's moving on. So anyways.
Jason knew you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know. With the sun in my eyes, the wind in my face, dust getting in every place, saddle leather under me. In the cold and snow, the heat and rain, now I'll do this again and again. Might even do this for free. I was thinking I'd never make it home my life. Makes me roam this cowboy life. One for me. Ole, 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 ole. with the line on my forehead, cowboy tan, coiled up rope in my hand, looking for pink-eyed Louise. Lay it on, pull it tight, take my turns and do it right. One more for the count in the fall. I was thinking I'd never make it home my life. Makes me roam this cowboy life. One for me. Ole-o, lo-dee. Ole-o, lo-dee, ole-dee. Ole-o-dee. Check to see if she's paying attention. Don't you take my horse, take my saddle. Don't take me where there's no cattle. Leave the dog in the bedroll in the truck. Moving on to another place, getting a feel for a different space. It's all the same to me. I was thinking I finally made it home my life. Let me roam this cowboy life. One for me. Ole-o, lo-dee. Ole-o, lo-dee, ole-dee. Ole-o-dee. Ole-o-le-dee, ole-o-lo-dee, ole-o-le-dee, ole-o-lo-dee, ole-o-le-dee, ole-o-lo-dee. Dave Shaney was giving me a hard time, and he said, well, if you start writing this kind of music, you know, you have to write a song with the yodeling. So there. When you guys see Dave, let him know.
How are you doing?
We're okay. I don't see the hook yet.
Okay. All right. I think we should do making numbers.
Making memory. Another capo song. Is it, isn't it? Yes. No. Yes. No.
I don't remember. You're the capo guy.
No,
You know,
really?
it's a special thing to have watch a husband and wife.
This is like working cattle together.
Holy smokes.
Trust the capo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one are we doing?
Making memories.
Oh, that's pretty out. Oh, yes. As you can tell, I have kind of a short attention span. And so, if I ever get a song idea or a melody idea or something, I have to stop right then and there and either record it or write it down because it's gone if I don't. So we were headed out the door one morning going down to Corrals. We were riding some colts, and this struck, and I said, well, Betsy, go ahead and I'll write it down. And I wrote it down, and I messed around with it. When she came back, I thought, I'm not real happy with this, but Betsy said, play it. So I played it. Betsy said, I really like that. So we're going to do it. I'm not that stupid. It's called Making Memories. Well, hang on. We're playing two different songs. Okay, she's playing the right song. Do my work with a pen, you do yours in one. Are we so different? We work to give a good horse or a song. Each is bringing peace of mind, making memories or bringing alive. A good horse or a good song beats the soul. A good horse or a good song feeds the soul. some horses, I've written a few songs. Love can carry you along. There's power in a horse, the power in a song. Songs are dreams while you dream of your horses, making memories, oh, bringing them back. A good horse or a good song feeds the soul. A good horse or a good song feeds the soul. Favorite place is in the saddle, or singing songs to you. Riding a horse, or listening to a song, just floating along, making memories, oh, bringing them back. A good horse or a good song feeds the soul. A good horse or a good song feeds the soul.
I'm interrupting John and Betsy for a minute, but I want to tell you that John and Betsy have been playing at the Cowboy Festival in Genoa since we began 8 years ago. They're real friends, not only of mine, but of Genoa. And I consider them local. Betsy grew up on the Honeywell Ranch in Bridgeport. I don't know much about John, but I would like to invite them to tell you right now a little bit about where you grew up, how you met, and when you started playing together.
Well, she started out with Betsy a little bit. I'm in the witness protection program, so I can't say that. So. This is plastic surgery. Betsy, as she said, she grew up in the summers in Bridgeport, California, and in the winters in Smith Valley, Nevada. There's about 60 miles apart. Her great-great-grandfather started the ranch in Bridgeport in 1861, and in 1907 they bought the Smith Valley Ranch because the winters were just too harsh on the cattle. So they started the annual migration twice a year in 1910. So Betsy, like I said, she was kind of a bi-state person. And I, again, am the witness protection. I actually grew up in Bridgeport, and we met. We'd seen each other many, many years, but it's just in passing. We didn't really know each other, but we met. Her sister invited me out to the ranch, a couple of fellows I was working with in the Forest Service, to go for a ride, and we met, and the rest is history, and we get to blame her sister for it. So.
That's about right. Yeah.
And that's all she's going to say about that.
So speaking of moving, do you want to try the moving song?
No, here's the one that hasn't been out of the
It's pretty new.
As I said, we move twice a year, back and forth. We move to the same place, but it's still moving. And the family's been doing it since 1910, so it's literally generational. So about this time of the year, all of Betsy's side of the family, they all just kind of like a bunch of geese. They start looking, and off they go. They just migrate, you know. And I hate it. I just hate moving. So
Don't hate the places, you just hate
I
the
love the
moving
place,
part.
love the people, but it's the moving part. Just I gotta have something to whine about. So I wrote this song kind of as a large, just as a ha-ha, and Betsy said, let's write it out. And once again, we're going to do it.
Okay, I'm following you.
It's called Moving Again, and it's just I call it the whining song.
road. Once again, was packing up my bags is where I might have been. Fall's coming on, winter's setting in. Was packing up my bags is where I might have been. Two houses to paint, two yards to mow. It's moving back and forth, you know it's gotta go on the move. Fix some busted pipes from Bella's till dawn. 'Cause when you get there, you're off and on the run. Things are unpacked and almost in order. You're packing up to move back across the border. Horse in the trailer, dog in the truck. Wouldn't you know it's just my luck on the move. Two, that's something I'll never get through. Things are here, but I'm there. You think I just wouldn't care? Drives me crazy all this just to know I've had it, I don't want to go. I'm moving. Packing it up, packing it in. I'm moving on once again. Roll my meds in the back of the truck, and wouldn't you know it's just my luck. Grass is turning green, spring's about to begin. Guess what? Yeah, I'm moving again. I'm moving. And I hate it. 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. I moved it up. What do you think? What do you think, Dorothy? Should we do the cover? Oh, for the castanets.
We have to ask the few folks that have heard us before if we're going to drive them out of the building.
Okay.
Which one are we doing?
We'll do that.
Okay, we're gonna do a song that's written by a friend of ours by the name of Michael Fleming. Michael Fleming's in a band called the New West, and he's the director of the Santa Clarita Cowboy Festival, or the Santa Clarita City of all their cultural stuff, I believe. And so I called Michael and asked him if he wouldn't mind if we do this. He said, "Which song is that?" And I told him, and he was like, good luck with that one, because I can't remember all the lyrics." It's encouragement. It's called the Gypsy Cowboy Band. Is your volume turned
It is.
on? Are you ready?
I think so.
Cowboys sat around the fire one dark and starlit night. Their faces lit by embers of the dancing firelight. They traded tales of past veils and hummed a favorite tune. The sound of quiet laughter heard beneath the wrestlers' moon. Then about the time they all were ready to retire, they heard an unfamiliar sound that caused them to inquire. For just before 'twas nothing more than silent desert air, a lovely girl approached with haunting eyes and raven hair. Following behind her as the cowboys hid and stared, the gypsy band appeared. We cowboys and gypsies meet, sparks that should have flown, then dancing like and then look underneath the desert sky. At first the trepidation showed on every cowboy's eye. They thought the gypsies sought to take their horses by surprise. Then they heard the sound of mandolins and tambourines, and soon their boots were tapping as the girl began to sing. Singing, oh, Buffalo's reaching out for his guitar. Bobby played the bones and started howling at the stars. Billy grabbed his fiddle like a man who was insane and started playing notes he'll never ever play again. The coyotes started crying as they tried to sing along to that gypsy cowboy band. Ring cowboys and gypsies lead, sparks of sugar fly, and dance the night and then go underneath the desert sky. So as the morning sun began to glimmer in the east, the cowboys told the gypsies to keep in their music feast. Their bodies were still aching from the chores of day before, and though they loved to carry on, they couldn't take much more. So as the gypsies rode away, the cowboys said farewell, knowing no one would believe the stories they could tell. How one night they were more than just a few old hired hands, they were a gypsy cowboy band. With cowboys and gypsies lead, sparks of sugar fly, they'll dance the night and then go underneath the desert sky. They'll dance the night and then go underneath the desert sky. Hey!
Thank you very much for being patient. We're through. We're done.
Multi-talented Betsy. Love the castanets. That was great. Let's give them a big hand.
Thank you.
I just have to become unattached there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, as Betsy and John are old friends to Genoa, our next performer, we are welcoming to Genoa for the first time. I've heard Randy many times in Elko, Nevada, at the National Poetry Gathering, and it's a treat, I think, to have him here in Genoa. I think you're going to enjoy him. And one thing I want to share about Randy, in Elko, he works with the high school students to encourage them to write and recite cowboy poetry. Thank you, Randy, for keeping cowboy poetry alive with the young people. Let's give a warm welcome to Randy Rieman.
Thank you all very much. I just want to let you know a little more details about that high school thing that we do. Some years ago, about 10 years ago, I got a call from the Helena School District in Helena, Montana, and they said, we're having a Poetry Out Loud competition at the school, and I hadn't heard about this, and we would like you to come and be a judge for our students. And Poetry Out Loud is a national... Wow, here we go. We had this trouble once before. Poetry Out Loud is a national competition in the high schools in America, and it was funded by the Getty Foundation, and they were pretty concerned about high schoolers' inability to speak in full sentences, and have a really difficult time communicating before a crowd. And so this thing got going where let's get these kids practicing oratory. And so there are about 600 poems on a website that these students get to choose from, and they have to do one poem from the past century, and they have to do 2 poems that are current. And so you might hear Rudyard Kipling, or you might hear Elizabeth Barrett Browning, or you might hear Edgar Allan Poe, or you might hear Maya Angelou, or you might hear Billy Collins, or Joel Nelson. Joel Nelson's great cowboy poem, Equus Caballos, is on that list, amazingly. And anyway, these students just knocked my socks off. They were brilliant. So if there's a local high school in your area, encourage them to become a part of this. They have a regional and then a statewide and then a national competition. And it's just fantastic. You can Google it if you do that sort of thing, and really just remarkable. And it's been really great. So Joel Nelson and I you know, the demographic at the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering has changed quite a bit, and there are very few young people involved. And so in an effort to do that, we do a recitation workshop each year at the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering for the local high school kids. And several of those kids have ended up being in the finals in the national competition. So we're just super proud of them. And so that's that. Someone asked me to recite a poem yesterday. Was that you?
It was.
How about if I try to hit that right now? This poem I don't do very often anymore, but it's one of my favorites, and I'll give you a little background on the poem. It was written by a man named Frank Dupre, and Frank Dupre was a London playwright and critic who spent 5 years in the southwest of the United States. And he came back to London and went back to work. And he wrote this poem as a curtain opener in London when there was a new play. Wow, that's pretty good volume. Oftentimes they would have a warm-up band, we would call them, but it was a poet. And they would tell a story, usually about 10 minutes, get the audience hooked on and ready for the play. And this poem was written for that purpose. Well, I doubt that it was written for that purpose, but it was used for that purpose in 1880. It first appeared in the Montana Stock Journal. Wow. Anyway, I'll give it a go, but I don't have a spider web mind, and I get distracted really easily. So the poem is called Alaska. And I want you to remember that it was written by a Londoner, okay?
As soon as I get you going, I am going to fix that.
Yeah, you know, I was wondering if maybe there was something.
So you good?
I'm okay. Yeah, you're good.
I'm trying to run both stages.
Oh, no worries.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, here we go. Alaska by Frank Dupre. Which is kind of hard to do the music for some reason. Can you all hear that coming through? Okay.
Christian's good.
Yeah, and maybe give you just a minute to see if that can go away. I went to London, I went to England in 1995. I was part of a group of 4 poets who came from the United States to celebrate the Year of Literature in the United Kingdom. We did a 15-city tour all through London and Wales. It was fabulous. And I got to do this poem there where it had been written. We did a show in the Purcell Room in London, which is where great poets, British poets, debuted their work. And we also got to do poetry in Swansea, Wales, where Dylan Thomas used to debut his work in a pub. And so we went to that pub and we did a bunch of American poems, but Paul Zarzinski, who is a rabid Dylan Thomas fan, did all Dylan Thomas poems in that pub. So, it's all very well to write reviews, to carry umbrellas and keep dry shoes, to say what everyone's saying here and wear what everyone else must wear. But tonight I'm sick of the whole affair. I want free life and I want fresh air. I sigh for the canter after the cattle, the crack of the whips like shots in battle, the medley of hooves and horns and heads that wars and wrangles, scatters and spreads the green beneath, the blue above, and life and danger and laugh and love and Alaska. Alaska used to ride on a mouse-gray Mustang close by my side in blue serape and bright-billed spur. I laughed with joy as I looked at her. Little knew she of books or creeds, and Ave Maria sufficed her needs, and little she cared, save to be at my side, to ride with me, and ever to ride from San Saba's shore to Lavaca's tide. She was as bold as the billows that beat, and she was as free as the breezes that blow. From her little head to her little feet, she was swayed in her suppleness to and fro like each gust of passion. a sapling pine that grows on the edge of a Kansas bluff and wars with the wind when the weather gets rough, is like this Alaska, this love of mine. She would hunger that I might eat. She'd take the bitter and leave me the sweet, but once, when I made her jealous for fun at something I'd looked at or said or done one Sunday in San Antonio to a glorious girl at the Alamo, she drew from her garter a little dagger, and sting of the wasp, it made me stagger 1 inch to the left, 1 inch to the right, and I wouldn't be maundering here tonight. But she sobbed, and sobbing so quickly bound her torn rebozo about the wound that I swiftly forgave her. Scratches don't count in Texas, down by the Rio Grande. Her eye was brown, a deep, deep brown. Her hair was darker than her eye, and something in her smile and frown, curled crimson lips and instep high, showed that there ran in each blue vein, mixed with a milder Aztec strain, the vigorous vintage of old Spain. She was alive in every limb, with feelings to the fingertips, and when the sun was like a fire, the night one shimmering soft sapphire, one does not drink in little sips. So why did I leave the fresh and the free that suited her, suited me? Well, listen a while and you will see. But of all these things, of this beware, God and God's laws are everywhere, and Nemesis comes with a foot as fleet on the Texas Trail as in Regent Street. Well, the air was heavy. The night was hot. I sat by her side and forgot the herd that was taking their rest, forgot the air that was close, oppressed, that the Texas norther comes sudden and soon in the dead of the night or the blaze of the noon, that once let that herd in their breath take fright, nothing on earth could stop their flight, and woe to the rider and woe to the steed who falls in front of their mad stampede. And was that thunder? No, by the Lord. I grasped my swift Mustang without a word. I sprung to the saddle. She clung behind, away on a hot chase down the wind. Never was fox hunt half so hard, and never was steed so little spared, for we rode for our lives. You will hear how we fared in Texas, down by the Rio Grande. Well, the Mustang flew, and we urged him on. There was one chance left, and you have but one. Halt, jump to the ground, shoot your horse, crawl under his carcass, and take your chance. And if the steers in their frantic course don't batter you both to pieces at once, you can thank your stars. If not, goodbye to the quickening kiss, and the long-drawn sigh, and the open air, and the open sky in Texas, down by the Rio Grande. Well, the cattle gained on us, and just as I felt for my old six-shooter behind in my belt, down came the Mustang, and down came we, clinging together. And what was the rest? A body that spread itself on my breast, 2 arms that shielded my dizzy head, 2 lips that hard to my lips were pressed. And then came thunder in our ears as over us surged a sea of steers, blows that beat blood into my eyes. And when I could rise, Alaska was dead. I gouged out a grave a few feet deep, and there in the earth's arms lay her to sleep. There she is lying, and no one knows. The summer shines and the winter snows, and the little gray hawk hangs aloft in the air, and the sly coyote trots here and there, and the black snake slides and glitters and glides into the rift of a cottonwood tree. The buzzard sails on, he comes and he's gone, stately and still like a ship at sea. And I wonder why I do not care for the things that are, like the things that were. Does have my heart lie buried there in Texas, down by the Rio Grande? Frank Dupre. How about another thank you to John and Betsy? These guys, they've been totally holding out on me. I've known them for years and had no idea they sang and played so beautifully. I'm just, what do they say, gobsmacked. I think they say that now. I do not sing beautifully. I just want to warn you that if you need a drink or the bathroom, now's the time. I have a real strong opinion about music and poetry, and if a piece of music doesn't work as a poem, then it probably oughtn't to have a job as a piece of music. Great writers of music are poets first, musicians second, and great poets put music in their words, and one needs the other. And in 1917, a fellow named Charles Badger Clark published a book called Sun and Saddle Leather, and so one of the very first real books on cowboy poetry that was really out. And this piece was in it. It's called Thank you. Please leave a message. It's called The Border Affair, and I think that poem Laska got me thinking about this. And again, I just rarely do these for the public, but I enjoy them when I'm at home.
I don't like this thing.
Oh, okay. Technical assistance.
Is correct.
Everybody that I know, from Don Edwards, who can really sing, to Andy Hedges, to Emmylou Harris, has recorded this song. But it's a poem. Spanish is a loving tongue. It's light as music, soft as spray. It was a girl I learned it from, living down Sonora way. I don't look much like a lover, yet I say her love words over. Often when I'm all alone, mi amor, mi corazón. On nights when she knew when I'd ride, she would listen for my spur. Throw those big doors open wide, raise those laughing eyes of hers, and my heart would nigh stop beating when I hear her tender greeting, whispered soft for me alone. Mi amor, mi corazón. Midnight's on the patio, old senora sitting near me and Juana, talking low so the madre would not hear. How those hours would go by flying, and all too soon I'd hear her sighing in her sweet but sorry tone. Adios, mi corazón. And then one night I had to fly for a foolish gambling fight, and we said our swift goodbye in that black unlucky night, when I loosed her arms from clinging, with her words the hooves kept ringing, as I galloped north alone. Adios, mi corazón. Haven't seen her since that night, 'cause I can't cross the line, you know. She was Mex and I was white. Like as not, that's better so. But I've always really missed her since that last wild night I kissed her. Left her heart and lost my own. Adios, mi corazón. Charles Badger Clark's one of my favorite poets, and gosh, he's done some great stuff. And, in all my years of doing cowboy poetry, which is about 33 years of doing it in the public, and I hardly ever sing in public, and you can understand why, but I'm going to sing you another song. I've heard songs about just about everything except a poet. I was trying to think of the only song about a poet that I know, and this is it. And so, I once knew a poet who lived before his time. In his dog spooner, he'd listen while he rhymed. Words to make you happy, words to make you cry. And then one day that poet suddenly did die. But he left behind a closet. It was filled with verse and rhyme. And by some strange transaction, one got printed in the Times. Now everybody's searching for the king of underground. Found him down in Florida with a tombstone for a crown. And everybody knows the line from his books that cost $4.99. Wonder if he knows he's doing quite this fine. 'Cause his books, they were all bestsellers, and his poems were turned to song. his brothers on a talk show, but they never got along. And now he's cold and mortal, and he's even taught in school. They say he used his talents as a most proficient tool, but he left all of his royalties to Spooner, his old hound, growing old on steak and bacon in a doghouse 10 feet around. And everybody wonders, did he really lose his mind? No, he was just a poet that lived before his time. Anybody know who wrote that? Anybody want to take a guess? Jimmy Buffett. Do you mind if I try to sing a little more? I was telling John this guitar. It's a great guitar, but it's got these really terrible knockoff tuners, and I've been through 2 sets of them, and I just can't keep it in tune. It's super frustrating. And that's why I sing off key so much, is so no one will notice that it's not. Jimmy Rogers. Anybody know who Jimmy Rogers was? Singing Rieman. I just love Jimmy Rogers' stuff, and I'm going to do whatever comes out here will be in the Jimmy Rogers style. And so I won't say that I'm going to do Jimmy Rogers' song, because if you know the song, it might not sound like Jimmy Rogers. So, but I'm going to try his style here on this song. Cowboy blues, Lord, I got no place to ride. I got the cowboy blues, Lord, I got no place to ride. Well, everywhere I go, there's a fence on every side. You can go to Arizona, you can go to Texas too. You can go up to Montana where the big sky's blue. Or you can go to the Dakotas and you find the same thing is true. And that the open range ain't so open anymore. Lord, the open range ain't so open anymore. That old barbed wire certainly closed the door. She's my gal from up the shoulder where the grass grows high, and I'll love her till the day that I die, till the day that I die, till the day that I die. Yeah, she's my gal from up the shoulder, and I'll love her till the day I die. She's my gal from up the shoulder when she's long and she's lean. Rides a loose tunnel like a cowboy's dream. She's a cowboy's dream. Yeah, a cowboy's dream. Yeah, she rides a Lusitano looking like a cowboy's dream. Lusitano is the Portuguese horse they fight bulls on, just so you know. I got the cowboy blues, Lord, got no place to ride. I got the cowboy blues, Lord, got no place to ride. Everywhere I go, there's a fence on every side. 2 minutes? Wow. Wow. 2 minutes, okay. Well, John and Betsy told you a little bit about them. I worked in Montana and Nevada and New Mexico and Texas and Hawaii, in Switzerland, France, and Germany. And so it's been real hard for me to keep a job. And that's why I've traveled to all those places doing horse work with folks and helping the horse maybe get a better deal and helping the people get a better understanding of how a horse thinks and why he does what he does. What's his motivation behind the things he does. And so here's a little poem. One of the greatest horsemen ever was Bill Dorrance down there in Slings, California. And I always like to dedicate this poem to Bill because he appreciated a horse for what that horse could do. Not what he could do for Bill, but what the horse could do. And this poem was written in Australia by a man named Will Ogilvie in about 1890. It's called The Hooves of the Horses. The hooves of the horses so witching and sweet is the music earth steals from the iron-shod feet. No whisper of lover, no trilling of bird can stir me as hooves of the horses have stirred. They spurn disappointment and trample despair. They drown with their drumbeats the challenge of care. With scarlet and silk for their banners above, they are swifter than fortune and sweeter than love. On the wings of the morning they gather and fly. In the hush of the nighttime I hear them go by. The horses of memory thundering through, with flashing white fetlocks all wet with the dew. When you lay me to slumber, no spot you can choose but will ring to the rhythm of galloping shoes. And under the daisies, no grave be so deep, but the hooves of the horses shall sound in my sleep. Will Ogilvie. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you so much, Randy. I do hope you'll be back in Genoa. And thank you again to John and Betsy Elliott. Thank you for being here.